So, guys, here is our spoiler discussion on Sex Education season for the final season. If you haven't seen it, again, spoiler, go watch it, and you can check out our non-spoiler review also. But here it's all spoilers, and I'm Nona Prince, joined by Varun, and this is
Hi
Indian
guys.
Geek Society. So today, I think the format is very clear. What we thought is just instead of our overview is already there in the non-spoiler, so we'll just go through each character and talk about their narratives and what we liked, what we didn't like, and yeah, let's go without any delay. So we'll start from secondary characters and then we'll build up to the main characters. So we have
Yeah,
this Netflix page with us, and
cast guide, season 4 cast guide.
yeah. So we'll just I think from the bottom, the first character is Joanna, which is
Hmm.
Otis's
Aunt.
aunt, and what's the mother's name? I forgot. Jean's sister.
Jean's sister. It
Sister.
says right there.
Yeah. Sorry. So, what do you think about her character? She came in
Yeah.
second episode, right? Not the first, the one we
Yeah, no,
reacted to.
not the
Yeah.
first.
So, what do you thought about
And
her?
yeah, I think so. I think, yeah, my overall, like, the issue that I had with the season was with the introduction of the new characters, because I felt like in the final season you should have focused more on like the core
Ah,
members and introducing new ones. Like, I think the Sex Education did it a lot better than many other shows which have done similar things, and then like their finale has been terrible, but Sex Education did a lot better. So in that sense they did a good job. But I think, yeah, she was still a better one of the better characters, because I think I realized that in the past 3-4 seasons we never really saw much about Jane, and like, the sort of difficulties her face. And I think she was there just to sort of progress Jean's storyline of like how she's getting stressed out with the child and then going to a job and all that. So in that sense, I liked that character.
yeah. Even I found a character interesting. Refreshing take. I understand. Introducing that to so many new characters in this season. And
Hmm.
taking off some other characters. I think it would be interesting. How they thought which character should we take forward, which we can leave behind. I think somewhat you can
Yeah.
guess because like some characters had multiple things with multiple characters. They had arcs. So maybe those characters
Hmm.
they promoted and others they left behind. So her character, I think overall was nice. Complimenting. I was happy that she's there
Hmm.
because I was feeling so bad for, Dr. Milburn. But we'll come to
Hmm.
that later. But
Yeah.
yeah, her losing her mind and she also, running away, and we get to see her, what she's going through also. And then I
Hmm.
think where it hit me and where I teared up actually was the finale, where we get that
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
moment.
When she
And I think this was
calls.
the first time in the 4 seasons that we get flashbacks, because you got
Yes,
multiple
exactly.
flashbacks
Yeah.
throughout, with different characters going back. So
Yes.
that was pretty interesting. So let's move to the next character, which is the mother, Maureen Groff. For Cat also, I
Adam.
think Adam's mother, and I think the only arc she had was, like facing the consequences she had with, the divorced husband and ex-husband, sorry,
Michael. Yeah.
and the son, and how to deal with that. And she's also lonely herself. She is unable to move on. And it was
Hmm.
interesting because I thought last season they kind of made it clear that they are not going to come back. It's not like if he gets better they'll come
Hmm.
back, but this, like, they kind
Yeah.
of made a u-turn where she did come back. But what
Hmm.
do you think about that? Because this is something, in a recent Hindi film where they didn't do this. Rocky or
Which one?
Rani
Oh,
with the
yeah.
mother, because that's
Interesting.
like obvious.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the man has learned his lesson, and now the woman is like, yeah, it's all fine now. So
I think her storyline by itself not like that, but when you take that entire family's storyline, like all of them, it makes very much sense that uh the husband, like Michael, he has learned, or like he's still in the process of sort of changing and improving himself, and he keeps reminding himself. And then Adam also with like accepting himself and sort of becoming more confident in what he can do and things like that. And then eventually again sort of bonding with his father, and then also he's already close with his mother. So in that sense, I think, yeah, what her storyline was, it makes sense. But yeah, it was, I did not expect, like, I did not think that they would get back together, but by end
yeah,
it is very clear that I think
yeah.
they will get back. Yeah.
But the next character, Michael Groff, one of my favorite character
Oh,
arcs. I think
yeah.
this is the character where what he was kind of a villain and the character you don't like, but then you
Mm,
understand why he's like that.
mm,
They don't know better. They don't know any better.
mm.
They
Exactly.
don't know what that they are doing wrong, and then they go
Yeah.
on that journey of understanding and changing themselves. And then I think last season we got a lot of backstory with him also, that he's also carrying his own
Yeah,
baggage of
he and
his
his
father.
brother and
Yeah, and his
yeah.
brother. That he was, I think it's all about being bullied, right? For
Mm,
everyone.
yeah.
We'll come to Ruby
Yes,
also.
yes.
But yeah, so he was, and then I liked, the way we see his, arc of going through that learning curve, and it's not like this. He's fine now. I've understood everything. I'm sorry, and now I'm the perfect guy. So I think I like that it didn't
Yeah.
happen like that, and that was of
Yeah.
course that's the way they would do it. So
Mm,
that's one of the character, and I think the way the moment he hugs him at the
yeah.
ranch, and I don't
Oh.
like when they undercut with comedy, but it's funny
Mm,
when like will you hug a horse? You wanna hug a horse? I'm like, but sometimes like I think that's where my Indian sensibility comes in, where I want to see them cry a bit more, express themselves a
mm.
bit more. I think whereas for like it's not that expressive or that
Yeah, I
acceptable
see.
maybe
Yeah, yeah.
for others. But yeah, a lot of moments throughout the show I feel like, come on, especially the final moment. I'll talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think about his character?
Yeah, I think definitely he was also one of my favorite character, and so I think my complaint was that they did not give him enough like cooking or like that. He did not give a lot. Like in season 3, we had a lot of scenes with him like cooking and enjoying, whatever he's doing. I feel like there should have been more in this, and especially like my main complaint was that in the finale he made that entire like amazing meal
Yeah,
for that party and event.
yeah,
No one even. I
mentioned it.
wanted a
Yeah,
scene where they compliment him. They tell him directly that, "Oh, you are so good at this," and no one did that. They did show that I think Otis and all they were eating the food and they were enjoying it, but they did not show that it was made by him. Like they should have. I wish that connection was made. But yeah, I think I'm glad that by end his entire arc over 4 seasons was very good, and like the way they ended it, I like that. Yeah.
and one more thing, I actually thought he may go to Otis for advice about his,
Oh.
but I liked, how they brought, like he went actually to the mother, to talk about it through
Mm,
that radio. But
yeah.
more on that. One more thing I want to talk about is how in throughout the season we have so many multiple characters, but I think there were three
Mm.
or four times when the narrative brought them together, but they
Yes.
all had
Yeah.
their own individual story. It was not like just for the
Mm.
movement of one character, all of them are here, and then they leave off for their own stories. They all build up
Yeah.
there. I think it was one when they go to the cinema hall all together. There are multiple stories
Yeah.
all coming together. Then at the
Yeah.
funeral, again they all
Yes.
come together. Then in the school when the lift is not working, and
Yeah.
so I like how multiple storylines are going on, but all of them are converging together and then
Mm.
leaving from there. So that one thing I really enjoyed this season. But
Yeah.
moving on to the next character, which is Roman,
Yeah.
the boyfriend of
Boyfriend. Yeah. Abby, I think.
boyfriend,
Yeah,
not
boyfriend,
boyfriend,
boyfriend.
right? Wait,
I mean,
I
he's
don't want to say
trans.
anything wrong, so I'm sorry.
No, he's a boyfriend. He was
They,
the boyfriend and Abby was the
they.
girl. No, he was he. He was he. Read the description. It says
Oh,
he. So
okay.
it's, yeah.
He's a trans masculine.
Oh.
I'll be honest. One thing I found uncomfortable was I don't know who is who. I honestly couldn't
Yeah.
tell at many places, and
I
unless
think,
they
yeah, I
referred
think
it in
that's.
the narrative itself.
Yeah, the interesting part of him and his girlfriend Abby was that they were both girlfriend and boyfriend, which is like what you would expect like a straight couple. But the thing is that he is a trans masculine while she was trans feminine. Like he was born in as a woman, but he turned into a man, and
Okay.
she was born as a man but turned into a woman. And so in that sense, they both are like I think that was sort of interesting that they showed. But I feel like yeah, they did not have any arc in the season, but they were there in every episode, which I was not a big fan of. Like they appeared in
Okay.
almost every episode. They did not really, but they had that one small arc which Otis resolved very quickly both the times it happened. And then they were still there in every season. They were being friends with Eric and all that. Like they were taking up screen. I felt like they were taking up a lot of screen time, which could have been used for other storylines. I think
I would like to
that's my
know
sort of
what are the
complaint.
other storylines you wanted more from. But interesting. I actually didn't feel that, especially Roman was character as a was fine. I'll talk more about AB's character. But I understand. Yeah, they had a lot of screen time. And but also one thing after the reaction, what do you thought about the whole school?
Yeah, I still feel like, yeah, that's one storyline that I wanted more like to get from that. Like the way, everyone was acting over there and all that. While if they were, I think in that one of those second last or finale, when the that girl, she says that, you are just like, you're not letting your true emotions out to all of them, and then like the whole school seriously needs to understand, I think that. And I feel like that entire storyline, they did not complete it properly in a way.
Uh, but I felt it came from Abby's character, and then they like kind of. I think it also shows that it's like a woke school, but like you didn't have people for sign language. Like you didn't. Still, you
Yeah,
left out
that
some
was
people.
interesting.
You didn't
Yeah.
care about others. I think in the moment the first scene with the lift happens, right? I knew this lift thing was gonna come back.
Yeah.
To in some way or form that this school is so progressive, everything in that sense, but the lift is not working. What about the student who cannot walk?
Mm.
So I think it was expected when it comes. But yeah, school wise, maybe I thought they'll just. I think maybe as a whole they didn't change the school, but also the school was not like this was doing something bad. That they do recycling, green, clean, whatever, all that stuff. So I
Yeah.
guess it's fine. Also, guys, you have to understand we both are watching it from an Indian perspective. Me, just from Indian perspective, maybe Varun has more understand these things because he's been US for some time, and all in that sense also he understands better than me all these things. I'm not. I'm a noob. Okay, moving on. AB's character. I actually like
Yeah.
there was this intrigue and her own whole connection with Eric about being
Mm.
Christian, which I want to
Yeah.
talk
Yeah.
about Eric a lot, but we'll wait.
Oh yeah. I
So the
also
whole arc, right? Her being there and this too positivity and too much of, and it's actually harming her. And I like how they showed that.
yeah. Yes. Yes.
Even with the friends, even with the partner, even with the surrounding she's building. So it didn't
Hmm.
work out. At the end, they clarified it.
I mean, I already said my point with like
Chalo, koi
of
nahi.
all the these two characters and the other woman. I'm forgetting the name of that character, but yeah, Aisha. Okay, I see. It's the one that's right up. Yeah, like these three of them, they just I felt like they appeared in every episode, but they were helping other characters, other main characters storylines, but they were just taking up so much screen time that I was very confused. Like, why are they like in every episode, and they are new cast members, like they're just new in this season. I taking up so much, like that was my issue with, I think, the
Yeah.
overall season.
And
Yeah.
Aisha's character was also interesting. And with that character, we also had one more. But yeah, let's talk about Cal also. Uh, you know,
Okay. Is it?
their
Yeah.
character was very
Yeah.
interesting take because it's something I just don't understand. Like I cannot just
Yeah.
understand it.
Same.
So it was interesting to see that narrative, what's going on, how it's affecting them, the change of
Mm.
your body turning from one to the other, and how difficult that process can be, and the whole part of going to the private hospitals, like that part I'm again not sure, but the way they
Yeah.
explored all that, and
Mm.
how neglected, I think they just felt neglected, uh, as because of the personality, because they are not into it, like they're not very
Mm.
vocal or someone who participate everything kind of, but also what they were
Yeah.
going through, and it was I don't remember what happened between them and Jackson last season. I actually don't,
I
and
think
it felt
no,
their
both
narrative
of them
felt
were
weird, and
together.
in the finale he just
Yeah, both of
comes
them.
back. So
Yes, both of them were together in season three, and then they sort of broke up, and then yeah, I think that was all that had happened. And then like because they said that I'm not, I don't feel like a woman or something like that. So that I think that was where they had left off at season three, and then yeah, again. I think in season 4, yeah, it was very interesting. Again, like you said, that it's very difficult, or like it's a very different sort of thing, and like trying to show that, I think was good attempt. But I still feel like, again, when in the finale episode, like it's like they sort of forgot a lot of the things, and then suddenly in the finale they
Yeah.
remembered. So they, like, for I mean the writers remembered that this character is there, and so they put, like, this character went missing, and then the
Like
whole
in
school
the
was
finale,
like,
I would have like if it was only Eric who brings Carl back, I'd be fine. I
yeah,
didn't need.
yeah,
Actually didn't need Jackson. They didn't add anything, and because you didn't build anything over the season, for
yes,
that scene to
exactly.
work for him also.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and they said, I think Jackson said, "Oh, I know where they are," and he runs off, and like I'm like, wait, I've never seen this location. I don't think it
Oh
was
no
there
no
in
no!
season. Like,
They
how
I remember season three.
was
They
it?
actually go to this place where he first time smoke up. Remember
Oh,
when they're
okay.
sitting there and they talking? They was just
Oh, okay. I
yeah.
remember the smoking. Okay, okay. I see. I see.
So that,
Oh, very
I did
weird then.
remember that part.
Very-
But yeah, I think Eric one. I was actually praying, please Eric show up because the dream. Okay, we'll come to Eric. Yeah, I want to talk.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. First, let's talk about what's the character's name? Thomas Molly, played by Dan Levy,
Oh,
who is from Schitt's
oh,
Creek, I
okay.
guess. He
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
add much going on,
Yeah, he seemed like
honestly.
a guest character, honestly. So
Yeah.
just to, and I liked this scene with Maeve in the finale when she tells him that, you are a teacher and your words sort of hold
Oh,
power.
I
I
want
think
to go
that
there,
was
but
very good
okay.
scene. Like, just
Yeah.
in general, just I think in general, for, I guess, teachers or people who educate in education and that, to understand that, the way they treat students is like it's very important. Like, it's their words do hold a lot of power, especially when you're teaching someone and you are
Yeah.
sort of mentoring them, educating them, I think, in that sense. So that was a very nice scene. But other than that, I think, yeah, he was just very much like a guest character.
But also, there was one line he said, "It's hard to see you all at the beginning," in that finale.
Yeah,
What did it
yeah, he
mean?
said that. I think he meant that he's he's a famous author. That's how they showed him, right? Like, he's a famous author who has written 2, 3 books or something, and very popular books. After reaching that level of success, now that he's teaching someone who's just starting their career, or at the very early stage of their career, and then at that point, I guess, yeah, it's maybe because he has also gone through struggle in, like, becoming a successful writer, that now when he sees someone struggling like that, like, he's just not able to, you know uh I don't know, I guess, see them the same way or something like that.
Okay. I think
And
how I actually took it was that he feels jealous that, seeing you at the beginning being so good so early in your age,
oh,
and the
yeah,
opportunity you're
it could
getting, I
be.
never got it, that he's kind of jealous.
Maybe,
But I think there was no
maybe.
backing for this theory. So that's why I was
Yeah,
confused. What did that really mean? Maybe in the comments, people can let us know, or the writers are for watching. Congratulations, first of all, for the season. Okay, next character is Viv. Again, like a topper character
oh,
falls
yeah,
in love. And I like, again, this school. So, I said, being too helpful, and this guy, then you find out, oh, he's just too possessive, and
yes, yes,
so I liked
yeah.
how they explored that narrative with her, and and
And then
explored
in
that
the
it's
end,
not
like,
her fault.
Amy tells
Yeah.
her to, like, that was
Amy,
nice.
dude.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
like we're building up. Let's. Okay, wait. All right. Then the next character is Sarah
Well,
O. Owen. I actually really like the character. The actress did a wonderful
oh,
job. Oh.
yeah. Oh,
So I really liked it. I liked the place she comes from. Her
mm,
backstory when we get to the flashback of her side. And
yeah.
that's actually makes sense. Being a person out of place and you want to. That's something I relate to a lot.
Mm,
Because just from my physical appearance only, I stand out, right, just like her.
mm.
So it becomes suddenly you want to fit in, and you will try to
Yeah, you're
do
trying to do
something,
what the popular
yeah.
opinion is, or what the popular thing
Yeah,
is to fit
so
in. Yeah.
that's something I relate to. So I like the cat, and I liked, and that goes with even with the professor, right, the famous writer. the show doesn't make anyone a villain. You know that they are just the wrong
Exactly.
people.
Yeah.
Just they're bad. The show doesn't
Yeah.
does that. So I really like that. Even with it's not like she's just a bad therapist, so she's wrong and all of that. No, she's good enough. And how she
Mm.
got into this, and how she was doing it with the mother in the radio, also how she was answering and helping out. So even
Yeah.
that also worked, and even like the mother learned something from her. The
Exactly.
way.
I think, yeah, the point was that she was a genuinely like good
Yeah,
therapist. And I think probably better than Otis. Like Otis himself accepts that. So, and I think the ending, like once they established that, oh, we'll have a voting system, I thought that, okay, by the end, knew that Otis is not going to win. Like I just guessed that, but I wasn't sure if Otis and this, like, O will work together, or will O just be the sole, you know, uh, like the sole person running the
yeah.
therapist clinic. So I think, yeah, I in the end they still leave it open that maybe Otis will
They will
join her or
both,
not.
yeah, work together and all of that.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
think maybe like I feel like they both did become like close enough in the season that maybe they might work together. I think
yeah.
that's where they left it. But yeah, I like the character too. Yeah.
Moving to Jackson. This is a character which some things work, some things didn't work. The whole arc
Mm.
of him, having this issue and him, it's haunting him, and he's thinking about death and all of that, how it comes up. I think that was good.
Yeah.
But this whole idea
Yeah.
of, finding the father and this, like, I
Yeah.
just felt, that you are such, like, this idea, right? That who's the father and all of that is
Mm.
such a
Traditional.
yeah traditional thing, and you are
Happens.
like you have two mothers. I don't
Yeah.
think in that atmosphere of the world you live in, that
Uh,
really should really concern him, that who's my father and I want to know if he loves me. Like, it just felt like
yeah.
something that's been done a
Same.
lot of times, and
Yeah,
even
it felt
it didn't pull off well.
storyline felt very like half baked. Like it just, it did not have.
One of the
It
weakest easily.
had more ideas, but they did not have enough time or something, so they just cut it down or whatever. And like, yeah, I really like the the cancer part of his story, the first half in the season. I think
Yeah,
that was very I think it's also again a very educative thing for like men, that yeah, this is something that happens to a lot of men, and it's something that should, like, there should be more awareness of that. So I think in that sense it was good, but yeah, again, the father storyline was very like, and the way it ended also, and it's just, it was so yeah, it was very half baked overall. That's my thought.
like I would assume, like a child like that who has two mothers already in society, I'm sure they would understand that it's not normal, it's not a
Mm,
day-to-day thing, and definitely our mothers would have faced some like some struggle for that. So you would be
yeah.
more what do you would say, empathetic to that, so but
Yeah.
yeah, but maybe it's not that, maybe that's how I see it. It can be something like
Mm,
that. But moving on to Isaac, a fun
oh,
character who comes back, and
yeah.
I think he was basically there for Amy. It was not
Yes, I
something
think
there
so.
was a character for him, like an
Yeah.
arc for him. Honestly, maybe like he
Yeah.
got to know more about himself through Amy's character arc. That
Mm,
came the case of him trying to become a teacher, and his
mm,
arc of fighting for himself. The
yes.
whole idea, that we have a disability, but we don't keep want to nag others that we are disabled and
Yeah.
differently abled, and help us out, and
Yeah.
feel that pity, and so you be stay quiet, don't say anything. And I think that also a point they raise, that no, you have to say it, you have to ask for that.
Yeah.
So that was a nice point they made to this character. All
And it
right.
was very nice when he says that, even he, like, just like everyone else, he also has the stress for exams and, all the other stresses of life that everyone else has. But on top of that, he also has this one thing, and others, if they can't be considerate about that, then also, like,
Yeah,
that makes life so much difficult for him. I think that was very nice
yeah.
in many ways.
Ah, Amy, Lou.
Oh,
All
finally.
right. First of all, the actress is the characters, like those kind of moments where the actor
Mm.
resonates the character, like they are the same, And I actually saw an interview with her, and like she's basically Amy only. But yeah, of course. very
Oh, okay.
different.
I'm not.
I think one thing I saw in an interview, she talked about how, people made fun of her intelligence, and everyone
Hmm.
thought it doesn't really affect her. She doesn't think, but it did affect her as a character.
Hmm.
And later it come. But dude, her character arc, oh,
Really
like,
amazing. Yeah.
chef's kiss. Like, where to start? Okay, first of all, it felt like that when she went in the bus and everyone went with her, and like that was a
Hmm.
like
That was a
full
resolve.
circle for her,
Yeah.
resolve for her.
Completion of. Yes.
The what do you call it? The harassment she
Whole set.
faced.
And then.
Harassment.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and that trauma doesn't just go away like this. And I like
Yeah.
how it continues, that genes, and how and how that resolved, the way it resolved through art, and how,
Hmm.
like,
Exactly.
she's an artist. She's someone who's
Yeah.
so bold. She just say anything, whatever she feels, and she's so expressive,
Yeah.
and like that
And the
was
thing
like,
is that the seeds for that were put like
yeah,
throughout all
yeah,
three, four
like
seasons.
this is one of
They
the
always
best
showed her
arc
baking
over the
and all
three
that.
seasons,
Yeah, exactly. Very,
and
yeah, very good arc, I think. Yeah.
even the whole idea of her with Isaac and such a contrasting characters, and she unwilling to take it ahead until she gets a nod from her best friend, because they were a couple
Yeah.
before. Then the
Mm.
way she uses art and understands what her art is, and
Exactly.
those
Yeah.
pictures, and it was like when Isaac says, this is wow. I was like, yes, this is actually wow.
Yes.
And
Exactly.
the free the it's like I felt that release when she,
Mm.
final picture she takes and she dances, and
Yeah.
I felt that release. Ah,
Yes,
man,
exactly.
beautiful.
Yeah.
This is what you want, for to feel when you watch movies and watch a character and follow their journey.
Exactly.
So, like, this is
Yeah.
one of the best, the whole circle. It happened. I loved it. I
Mm.
loved it.
That's true.
Okay,
Yeah, very good ending, I think, for her. Yeah.
one of the best character for me. Next is Ruby. Uh, very much wanted them to come together, but I kind of didn't understand. Like, one that is okay. First, we got a backstory finally, which I really wanted to know how what led to her being this. It was being bullied
Mm.
that led to her becoming a bully itself. You know,
Yeah.
and like in a traditional sense, like if I was a dad, I would have like totally transformed her in the finale, that oh, now she's, she doesn't care about the looks and everything, and she's back to being a normal. But they kind of did that with, she wore the clothes some mother made, so that was her
Yeah.
arc. She cannot totally change. That's not realistic. I think that's where the show
Yeah.
does a good job. It doesn't listen to
Mm.
what I want. It does what it really wants to do. So
Yeah.
that I really liked.
I was kind of sad that by the end, I mean, she's talking with Otis, but they are not really even friends anymore. And in
Yeah.
that sense, so yeah, that was, but I think it sort of makes sense, like realistically, because it was so irritating that so many times throughout the whole season, like you see it from her perspective, you
Yeah.
see that like Otis was completely neglecting her.
Yeah.
And then when he needed her, he just came back to her that, oh, I
You
need
feel
help with the
sad. Yeah.
campaign. Exactly like that. So, and the thing is that especially when you've seen in the last season that she really liked Otis, and then also like he gave up on her, and then she's still trying to, like, she's still being the campaign manager or whatever for
I
him.
think that
Like,
was the hope,
so
right, for her.
yeah,
That
exactly, exactly,
maybe, and I think that was hope for me also. That maybe this season,
yeah,
with Maeve away, and maybe
yes,
it have, yeah, that, but no, no. If he didn't love her that time, doesn't mean one season later he's like, yeah, now
yeah,
I love you. That doesn't how it.
exactly.
That's not how it works. And even at the
This
ending
is not
when
what kuch hota hai.
and even the ending, with her when he comes to be can be friends, and she says no. That's like,
Hmm.
yeah, no.
Yeah,
I got my own friends. I have enough friends now.
exactly, yeah,
I have my own group. It's fine. Let's move
yeah,
on. So I liked of our character that's like move on. Like, I still remember
yes,
when season 3, I like so much wanted them to come, and yeah, that's the I think what's the power of the show, right? That you think you need this, but the show's like, no, you don't actually.
yeah, exactly.
And the next character
That's
is Adam Croft.
oh yeah,
Again, great arc for him as a character,
yes.
understanding himself, expressing, learning to express himself, and his whole dynamics with the family, with the horse,
Hmm.
with the girl. someone who's a
With,
failure every time
yeah.
whatever he does, and he's like, I'll be fired now, but he's not. Like, that, the point where he vents out that,
Hmm.
whenever I do something, I'm
Because
like,
of
I'm just
you. Yeah.
disappointment because of you. I don't want that. I don't
Yeah.
care anymore. I think that was his moment there. And
Hmm.
yeah, he was so good with the horse. The moment with him and in the church during the funeral,
Oh
even
yeah, the that
that
was so
also,
nice.
yeah. It's like, again,
Yeah.
moving on. I was like, worried, please don't bring them again together and all of that. But no, let's move
Yeah.
on.
No. The
Let's
show
That's
is
what it's all
much
about.
mature than
Yeah,
that. Like,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was very nice moment. I'm glad that I wanted to see him at least talk with some other character, and so the funeral scene actually did that. That he got to talk with Eric after that, and then like he even said to Eric that I really missed you and all that. So that was very nice. And then like after that, of course, his entire the way his arc ended, I think it was very nice. And yeah, his bonding with his father was also like they started bonding again. That was nice again. So yeah,
Wow,
good
man.
good
Like, I
ending.
cannot imagine having seen the first season. This is where that narrative will lead,
Yeah,
This is like the surprise.
yeah.
Whoa, whoa.
It was like the bully, right, in the first
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
Yeah.
The next character, Eric. Eric.
Oh
Yeah. Oh, dude, what
yeah.
a journey for him to, like,
Yes, I think yeah. This is my favorite ending, like favorite character ending in this season. I think so
I
easily.
it actually felt, maybe on a, like, of kind of, propagandist thing, like they're trying to, that bringing that god angle and church angle into it, but the way
Hmm.
they resolve it, right, how the dream happens, and even before that, first, church thing is separate, his relationship with Otis,
Yeah,
that one line, I think it was by the boyfriend, AB, and Roman says it, right?
Roman. Yeah.
Sometimes straight people don't understand what we go through,
Hmm.
and what, like, when you find someone in common, you spend more time. And then the whole idea of, two people separating,
Hmm.
that, and that would be interesting if they didn't even talk, and slowly they just became two separate people, you know
Yes.
that's how it happens in life, people change, their priorities change as they grow apart, and
Yeah.
that's what really happens. And I like, when you talk to Otis, like, we didn't talk about race, we didn't talk about this, we didn't talk about this,
Hmm.
you run away from this, like, I don't talk about that. And
Yeah.
then the whole church part, how they bring it in, and then what it leads to, the dream, and then when that do that, it teared me up, man, when God, I would
The
say,
God, I
Jesus.
think. Yeah, yeah. I was going to ask, what did you think of that? Like, it was. They showed a supernatural sort of thing happening, like with the
I
dream, and then the thing actually becoming a reality, and like God, I guess, appearing in front of them.
so
Like, what I didn't
I
expect that. Like in such a grounded show, I never expected something like that.
Yeah,
But it happened, and I liked it a lot because of what it led to his character to do. I think that's the reason
remember
why
the
I think.
Bible he found on the road.
Yeah.
So I was actually thinking of it, did something, a event happen, and that led to all these things, you know I was
Hmm.
actually wondering, but I when he I connected the dots. For me, what I took it as was when he says, I want to become a pastor, you know
Yeah.
so that's what
Yes.
connected me, that, every person who becomes a, a man of God or something like that, right? Like, some event has happened in their life that just suddenly changed everything for them.
Hmm.
Until then, until he says that he wants to be pastor, I thought he'll become an advocate, like, someone who wants to talk about their
Yeah.
rights and all of that, like a personality or something like that. But when he says that, I'm like, oh, so this was his moment
Hmm.
of, accepting God and understanding that God is on my side. It's not,
Hmm.
God is not separate, and if I, I'm a sinful guy, sinner, that, I'm
Hmm.
gay or something like that. And it's like the God, in his heart, he understood that God is me only. God accepts me,
Hmm.
and now I have to,
Yeah.
like, it was that moment for him. Yeah,
Yes.
that's where it connected with me. Yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, as you said, right, you didn't expect this to happen. That when the first dream sequence happened, I'm like, what is happening with him? Uh, you know, and then that,
Yeah.
God scatter only, because there's a needy person that leads to it. It's like
Yes.
discreet. You don't understand what's really happening
Mm.
until you see the
Yeah.
character again in the dream, and then again show
Yeah.
up. You're like, wait, now something is
Yes.
wrong. The whole thing's in the dream happening again, and even the
Yeah.
bond he creates with AB. That was
Mm.
also nice. But there's someone he can talk about his religion. Again, that's something you cannot talk
Yeah.
to Otis. So you need actually
Yeah.
different people in life, talk about certain things. You cannot talk about everything to someone.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, really, really liked where they took it. Like I couldn't expect
I
last
think.
after season 3 that this is the direction we'll go.
Yeah, that's true. I think I was the my worry with this season was that they shouldn't, they like for each character don't just make their relationship goal their main arc in the
Yeah,
season.
yeah,
Like with Eric, please don't bring him back with Adam, and that should be his arc. That shouldn't be. But it was his own personal,
yeah. Journey,
discovering that
yeah,
yeah, that he loves God so much, but because that church cannot accept him, he is going to become a pastor, and like he's going to make his he will be more accepting, I think, as a pastor than the other pastor that he was going to. And I think his arc also is very, like, again, very important in the real world sense that a lot of times I think all over the world, everywhere, if you see, like, people usually will say that, oh, people who are gay and all that, like, they don't accept God, they don't
yeah.
believe in God and all that. And this character has been like, he's been a very religious person since season 1 till now. And so I think just showing that on screen is like, I think it's a very good and important thing. I think it shows that yeah,
Even
people of all type exist,
even showing
so
at the end, the church is
yeah,
accepting of it. That we
exactly,
will,
that's what,
we
like,
want to
yeah,
change. You want to evolve with time.
Exactly, that's why
Yeah.
I think that's, yeah, important in like a real world sense. So
You
it
said
was good.
something that everything should not be about the
The
relationship, and
relationship good.
something which I had a issue with a character we will talk about soon. But before that,
Okay.
Maeve, Emma Mackey, Barbie, writer
Oh,
Barbie.
Barbie. Oh,
So you
Eric is
actually,
also Ken.
yeah, you actually said in the reaction that will she stay away all season. So how do you look at that? Her being there, then comes back, and then going back again.
Yeah, I think when she came back, I was very like, I was a bit upset at that point, that I was like, oh shit, now she's back. Now, of course, that won't they think will happen, and then in the end they'll resolve something. And I'm actually, yeah, I'm happy with the fact that I think that it's the most, like, it was the most expected thing that was going to happen. Like, no one was surprised at that, but I'm happy at the way it happened. And then I was also like, if you see by end of second last episode, their story, like, Maeve and Otis storyline is resolved. Then it's just about all in finale is literally about all other characters and little bit about Otis too. But Maeve and Otis storyline is resolved by the
Yeah,
seventh episode.
yeah.
So I was glad with that, and I think I also like the ending. Like, they finally got together, which was, and like, something which has been happening, like, which was supposed to happen. I don't know how long back, but like finally it has happened in that sense.
Because
And
we came to that multiple times,
yeah,
that point, and it didn't happen, and it didn't happen, and I'm like, will it really even happen?
yeah,
Will we
exactly.
end the show
So I was
without?
surprised that, oh, it happened. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, one more thing, I sent you a message also saying that season 5 ending reveal.
Oh,
Did
wait,
you did
what?
you get it? Not the message.
Where did you say?
Not season 5 ending.
No,
Episode
wait, on
5
WhatsApp.
ending. Yeah, I had messaged you. Don't look at it now. I just said that
Oh,
episode
oh, yeah.
5.
The ending is big revelation. Oh,
Did you get the revelation?
yeah. It was the O thing, right?
No, 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 no.
Oh,
Revelation is
wait.
not as in like the show revealed something. It's something that we didn't even think about.
Okay, I don't remember what happened
Season
now at the end of.
episode 5 ends with them in the old school, and then he tells her that I was with Ruby, and then the mother comes to take them.
Oh,
That's where we ended.
okay, okay. Yeah,
So
yeah,
do you
yeah,
get
yeah.
the reveal?
The mother finally met
Yeah.
her. That, yeah.
That's when she says, no, hello, Maeve. That's when it clicked me. Oh shit, this is the first time she's meeting her.
Yes, exactly.
I was
Like,
like, oh my
it had
god.
not happened this whole while.
Yeah.
Like when she said, "Oh, hello," and he says, "Oh, this is Maeve, this is Mom," and I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah, now it's happening." Yeah.
Oh man, that was good. But yeah, her whole arc, with the whole writing, I think we discussed that teacher part. When in the funeral, teacher says, she has been the best student I taught, and I feel proud I am your teacher. I think that's where it starts to hit you. The whole teacher angle, and that's where I understood. And even the whole idea about that. She's been alone. There's no one to support her. She has reached to a place by her own self. And
Yeah,
sometimes you feel it's
exactly.
become so lonely that you need someone being in your corner, which Jean says to her that
Hmm.
I'm in your corner
I
and
think yeah,
I'm
some
with you.
kind
You
of
should, yeah,
parent figure,
like
mother figure,
go. You can
whatever.
do it.
Yeah,
And that's what
yeah.
happened. And I think then I understood she'll go. But what will happen to the
Hmm.
relationship? The way they ended it, I really liked it. That it was not, oh, she has to stay, or the main hero and heroine have to be together and all of that. So I
Yeah,
like that they didn't do
exactly.
it. But the whole
Yeah, very,
arc
very.
also with the family, the mother passing away. I'm honestly season two, season three. I think they introduced the mother. I was honestly not a big
Yeah.
fan of introducing her whole family side, and that I just didn't feel. I feel it took away from the main story of the school and everything, because it just
Hmm.
sidetracked her character into something else altogether. But the way
Yeah.
it happened, the way they showed it, the brother, the moments with that, all of it, it really works really well.
Hmm.
And her dealing with it, not crying first, and then slowly losing it, everything is falling apart for her, and then things start to build up again. So I liked how
Yeah.
they showed the whole character in that sense. And again,
Yeah.
not just about her, relationship and all of that. So she had some
Hmm.
more things going on in life. So I really enjoyed it.
One
Now,
one
okay,
moment that I really liked was when in the funeral episode when she goes missing, she's just sitting in that
yeah,
car and Otis is not able to find her, but Isaac
yeah,
exactly like he just goes out, he knows because yeah, again the kind of upbringing that both of them have had in that place, and like I think yeah they were able to connect on some level, and again at that point I was like, is this hinting towards maybe both of them potentially getting back, but I knew that won't happen because they're setting up with Amy, but still like just seeing that moment was I think nice for both of their characters. And then again when she goes to throw that ash in that area, I think again she's with Amy and Isaac, that was
yeah.
also like a nice moment
We
for
I
them, like a
think we
nice.
don't barely saw Otis coming to her area where she lives.
Yeah,
Maybe season one where
yeah,
he came to drop her, then the Isaac season maybe he showed up 2 or 3 times there.
yeah, I
But you don't
think so.
associate that character with that place. So I like that
Yeah.
whoever is associated with that place is with her, you know.
Yes,
So it
yes,
it,
yes.
it really works very well. But let's now go to Jean, played by Gillian Anderson. I didn't take the name of
Hmm.
every actor, sorry, but yeah, she's so good. And I loved her performance. I loved, how even a therapist needs a therapy. She can have mental
Yeah.
breakdown, she can go through depression. And the way they
Hmm.
explored that, the way they explored the idea that, uh, women has to take a step back because they have to take care of the baby. They cannot have, career oriented goals. Like because there's a baby, you cannot choose that, like kind of
Yeah.
closing them in. And then the relationship with the son, then because there are two kids now who to take care of, and now there's a third, the career is a third
Hmm.
child, right, who's like
Yes,
a
yes.
stepchild for the other kids, that you think you're
Yeah,
putting more
exactly.
time for that than me, because we become
Hmm.
selfish there. So I liked how they explored that, the whole relationship with the sister, how that unfolded with the backstory, you know
Yeah.
again, that's something we don't get much in Western
Yeah, I think
content.
so.
I think it's now we see more of that in Indian films and shows and all of
Yeah.
that. I think it's now being explored a lot. But again, I liked how that comes into play, and her whole, going to a radio, learning something new. It's like a new
Hmm.
technology kind of, talking face to face or talking on radio,
Yes.
her relationship with the FM radio person.
Hmm.
Again, I couldn't tell if she's a he or she or a they.
Oh no, I think she was a woman. Just
Yeah,
like
she was
short.
a, but yeah, it's
She was a
I just
mother.
don't want to get like like
Yeah.
assume anything. Just yeah, but yeah, what do you think?
Yeah. That was actually people don't know, but that radio, her boss, I think, she's a famous stand-up comedian. Her name is
Ah,
Hannah Gadsby. She also like she's a famous British stand-up comedian. She also has like two specials on Netflix, which are very good. One of them is actually very good. The other is okay.
so about Gene, what do you think?
Jean, I think, yeah, very excellent character. I think throughout the four seasons, like she has been, and it's also, I think she's also the only sort of recurring adult character in the show. Others are like teenagers and
She's
school
kind of a main
kids. And
character, if you
yeah,
see.
she is. I think she's after Otis Maeve. She's the third main character.
Like in this
And
list, she's second.
yeah, I mean, in this season, I think she was after Otis, like she was the main sort of female lead to say, so to say. But yeah, I think her arc in this was, yeah, again, very very good to show that she understood that, while of course, she has that drive for a career, but then even the children and that sort of, like, she shouldn't let her own mental health and all that get destroyed in the process. And so she also learns to accept help from, her sister. And then of course she and her sister have their own issues, but then they, over the season, they sort of learn to grow and overcome that and things like that. So that was very nice to see. And yeah, again, performances, she's a very good actor, I think. So like all the sort of emotional scenes with her, they were like so well done. And like especially that scene in the end where she's talking with the
Oh,
sister
that
on
made me
the
tear up,
radio, that
man.
was,
That
yeah, that was very good. Like
that
very
made me
great
emotional.
performance.
And I
So
actually thought it would make Otis also emotional. And that brings
yeah, he was just
us,
standing there.
yeah.
Exactly.
And
Like
that brings us to
some of the things
Otis, played
were
by Asa Butterfield, which I say
finally.
he's a lovely actor. He does the comedy so well. He plays Otis so
Yeah.
well, socially
Yes.
awkward. But I would say his character arc, was all over the place for me. Uh,
Yeah, I agree.
like I think his whole conflict with O was so manufactured. Like you didn't set up any conflict really. He's just out of nowhere suddenly. Oh, that was my idea. She copied it, and
Yeah.
so I didn't like that. Like it came out of nowhere. And there's
Yeah.
also this idea that he's such a good therapist, but when it comes to him, he's like such a buffoon.
Immature sort of.
Immature.
Yeah.
Every place, like with Eric, with the mother, with May,
Yeah.
every place he's immature. But when it comes to others, and I think that somewhat maybe happens in
Maybe.
real also. That for others
Yeah.
we are have something, but when things same happening with us, we don't understand it. But it was just
Mm,
too much for his character. I also
yeah.
felt, his this arc with the mother was not well done. It felt like
Yes.
whenever he was in the house, the arc was present, and whenever he is out of the house, he doesn't remember that
It's
part of his
it
life.
doesn't matter. And then
And
when he comes back, he'll just shout at her that,
yeah,
"Oh, you
and
don't take
especially
me."
that when he's hearing all that on the radio, like
Radio. Yeah.
it's your aunt calling her, like
Yeah.
and
And
there's
he's
no
just standing.
expression, there's no even what do you call it, acceptance of it, even
Yeah.
like what do you call it, it didn't even
Hit him. No.
no, it didn't even acknowledge it,
Oh,
you know
acknowledge it. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
never, like you didn't think, oh my god, that's something big I learned.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why it feels so disconnected for me. So both those stories didn't work. Then with Maeve also, again, as I said last season also, I was tired with that. But again, the way they ended that narrative here, I enjoyed it. And it also is that insecurity of him, that looks like his mother, what he went through, same will happen to him, and that's what. But again,
Yeah,
that came
that
out
was
of
also
nowhere.
suddenly happened in
Yeah,
one episode, and he just talks about it in the next episode, and that they don't
yeah.
even resolve that.
It's not
Yeah.
like, over the seasons we saw it, or over the
Yeah.
season only from the start. No. From,
Some middle episode
like
it
remember
happened.
season episode 1 we reacted, we saw that, when O tells him that you feel she'll not come back. So maybe they
Hmm.
were set up for it, but it didn't land well. So it's a
Hmm.
shame that the main character only didn't get a better writing or a better continuity of the character. And as I
Yeah.
said, I was disappointed. Like I was looking at the timer because the show was ending last episode. I'm like, when will he go to the mother? Like that's the main thing I'm waiting for. And then he just goes and he sits and says sorry, hugged, and I'm like, no, this was the most like catharsis moment I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted him to cry and let it all out what he thinks, and I wanted the mother to say those motherly words to him and make him feel
Yeah.
better. I'm like, what, man, such a disappointment. Like that was the moment. Like if I was a
Yeah.
dad, like this is the main moment of the finale. This is where everything needs to hit work. I want him to come
Hmm.
there. They start with a discussion, and then leads to an argument, and then and he breaks off. What he had heard on the radio, that he lets go, and ah, and even his arc with Eric. I think that we talked
Yeah.
about mostly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was kind of not happy. that Otis was like what we
Yeah,
said.
I think the problem was he was involved in way too many different,
Yeah.
subplots, sub arcs, whatever. That his own proper arc got resolved with Maeve, which was fine, which was the best, I think. But like the other things were just not like his
Because it
arc with
was
his
set up for
mother.
so long, that's why.
Yeah. Like the mother thing has been happening since season one, episode one, Like I think that's when she says, I think you're trying to masturbate and like that's the thing that sets off the entire like sex therapy part of it. And then like, you know, yeah, there was no proper resolution. I did
Like
not
that's
like that.
the like core relationship, where it all
Yeah.
starts from. And you have to come back like yeah, it was disappointing, honestly. Underwhelming.
Mm.
That you didn't give me enough of that. Maybe not the way I wanted it, but more like, that acknowledgement, that understanding between them didn't come out well.
Mm.
So it like as you said, right? He was involved in so many subplots with Ruby, with O, with Eric, with the mother, and with Maeve.
Yeah.
Almost five, and then all these secondary things he was doing, talking to
Yeah.
someone, Jackson, and talking to Roman, and all of that. So like five
Yeah.
subplots he was part of, So of
Yeah.
course, it was just too divided. But
Yeah.
overall, in the show, I felt the way characters were moved around. Sometimes I felt, like this character, this character, this character, this character, okay, this character, okay, and then now I'm going back to the other character. Oh, it's been so long, So that
Yeah.
did I felt that while because I was binging it later. But yeah,
Mm.
overall, as I said, it's not perfect show, but it was fun to watch, and the way they end it, like the zoom out and the whole
Mm.
Mordor.
House. What?
Mordor,
Village.
right? No, the place is
Moordale. Moordale.
Mordale. Mordale. Sorry,
Moordale.
Mordor. Lord of the Rings. No, no, wrong franchise. Wrong
Middle
franchise. But yeah, that was Sex Education season for the final season wrap up, guys. Definitely let us know your thoughts. It's definitely long one. I'm tired. I had a really long one. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, do like, share, and subscribe. If you love us, definitely consider being a member and check out our exclusive content. One of them is actually both of us talking about our own sex education, which we didn't get. So our own life experiences. So you can check all of that as becoming a member. And again, you can like, share, subscribe, comment below, and we'll see you next time. Keeping out.